Ford just promised a $30,000 electric pickup and a brand new battery platform to make it real. And if they actually pull it off by 2027, that's the first real price punch we've seen thrown at Tesla in years. The headline isn't just the truck, it's the strategy underneath it. Simpler batteries, a cheaper manufacturing playbook, and a universal EV platform designed to stamp out multiple body styles fast. Ford is pitching this as their Model T moment, which is bold, a little dramatic, and exactly the kind of claim worth picking apart. So let's dig into what Ford really announced: why lithium iron phosphate batteries, LFP, are the quiet star of the show, and whether this upends Tesla's grip on affordable EVs or just gives Ford a fighting chance in a tougher market. Here's the promise in plain English. Ford says the first vehicle on its new universal EV platform will be a mid-size four-door electric pickup with a target starting price around $30,000, built in Louisville, Kentucky, and scheduled to roll out in 2027. That platform is supposed to be flexible enough to spin up other models, SUVs, vans, maybe even a sedan, without starting from scratch every time. And crucially, Ford says these vehicles will use LFP batteries built in Michigan, with tech licensed from CATL rather than relying on imported packs. If you're thinking, okay, but is this real or PowerPoint? There are signs this is more than a sizzle reel. Ford is retooling Louisville, committing billions across the plant and its Michigan battery park, and making the low-cost platform the center of its EV plan. The risk is obvious. Ford's EV division has been losing money. But the company's moving because the affordable end of the EV market is where the fight will be won. The new manufacturing play is weirdly the sexiest part. Ford says it's ditching the one long conveyor assembly line in favor of an assembly tree. Think of the vehicle being built in three big chunks: front, rear, and a flat battery tray that doubles as the floor, and those chunks get built in parallel and join near the end. Fewer parts, fewer contortions on the line, and more robot-friendly stations. If that sounds familiar, it's the same big idea Tesla's been flirting with in its unboxed process. But Ford's putting its own spin on it: large castings where dozens of pieces used to be, thousands of feet less wiring, and a structural battery that unlocks more cabin space without ballooning cost. This matters because assembly is one of the hidden costs that keeps cheap EVs from existing in the US. Shaving minutes and parts is the only way to hit a $30,000 sticker without the wheels falling off the business model. Okay, let's talk batteries because Ford's entire math depends on LFP. In simple terms, LFP packs are cheaper, safer, and tougher than the nickel-based batteries in a lot of premium EVs. They don't use nickel or cobalt, which trims raw material costs and a chunk of the supply chain drama. They tolerate frequent 100% charges better, which is great for daily users. The trade-off is energy density. For a given size and weight, LFP stores a bit less juice, so range can dip unless you make the pack bigger or the car more efficient. The reason Ford is going all in is obvious. Cell cost can be meaningfully lower than the nickel chemistries, and cycle life is strong. If your goal is good enough range at a price normal people can handle, LFP is the right hammer. The new twist is Ford bringing LFP manufacturing onshore in Michigan to control cost and politics at the same time. What does that look like in practice? Ford's Blue Oval Battery Park in Marshall, Michigan is slated to produce LFP cells next year, using CATL technology but through a wholly owned Ford subsidiary. That structure matters for incentives and supply chain scrutiny, and it's a big part of how Ford can claim American-made batteries at scale for a $30,000 truck. Add it up with the assembly changes and you can see the through line: simpler cells, simpler factory flow, simpler bill of materials. None of this is a moonshot, it's just Ford copying the right homework and building it at Ford scale. So what is this truck actually supposed to be? Ford said mid-size, 4 doors, with passenger space rivaling a RAV4 and performance roughly in the EcoBoost Mustang ballpark. Figure mid-4 seconds 0 to 60 depending on spec. They're talking about a battery tray that forms the floor, helping ride and handling and opening up interior room. And they've teased home backup capability measured not in hours but days. We don't have final range numbers or trims yet, and launch day claims tend to be optimistic, but the targets are clear. Fit a surfboard in the bed, keep the cabin roomy, and make sure the sticker starts with a 2. If the battery is smaller but the aero and weight are smarter, Ford can hit a usable range for commuters without paying for cells nobody wants to finance. If you're enjoying the video so far, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps a ton and it tells the algorithm you want more deep digs like this. Now the obvious question, will any of this actually disrupt Tesla? Start with price. As of right now, new Model 3 and Model Y stickers hover in the mid 40,000s before options. And while Tesla discounts and financing dance around that number, a legit $30,000 electric pickup would put Ford in a totally different bracket. Tesla doesn't sell a $30,000 anything new in the US, let alone a pickup. The company's long-promised affordable model keeps sliding around in scope and timing. Sometimes it's a stripped-down Model Y. Sometimes it's a brand new platform. Sometimes it's a robo-taxi with no wheel. The latest signal from Tesla is that early versions of an affordable car exist, but even bulls admit the details are thin. If Ford actually ships a $30,000 truck in 2027, it'll have time to build brand and volume in a price hole Tesla hasn't filled. That's a real opening. Where Tesla still dominates is software, charging, and scale. Supercharger access and route planning are excellent, and even with recent changes to charging network ownership, Tesla's ecosystem advantage is real. Ford does have NACS adapters and access deals, and its software game has been improving, but if you live on the road, Tesla still feels easier. The bet Ford is making is that most buyers don't live on the road. They commute, run errands, and maybe road trip a few times a year. For them, price, space, and total cost of ownership will matter more than shaving 5 minutes off a charging stop. If Ford's claim that the 5-year ownership cost undercuts a used Model Y holds up, that's killer marketing because it's also math. We also can't ignore timing and politics. Ford is aiming for 2027, which gives the company time to finish the battery plant, debug the assembly tree, and teach dealers how to sell an EV that isn't a luxury item. It also means living through at least one incentive reset. The federal $7,500 consumer credit is going away under the new budget rules, and that will dent demand in the near term. Ford is plainly designing the truck to survive without training wheels, lower parts counts, cheaper cells, domestic assembly. And if the credit landscape shifts again, as it tends to, being cost competitive without subsidies is the safer path. So is LFP really the revolution here, or just the right tool for the moment? Both. LFP has been around for decades, but it's having a moment because costs fell and the industry finally accepted the trade-offs. You give up some range on paper. In exchange, you get safer chemistry, stronger cycle life, and a price cut big enough to matter. Tesla has used LFP in standard range models for years and even recommends more frequent 100% charges for those packs. It's not exotic anymore. What's new is Ford committing to make LFP here at scale and marrying it to a cost-down platform from day one. That combination is what creates a shot at $30,000. There are red flags worth mentioning. First, Ford's EV unit has been bleeding cash and the company has delayed some next-gen programs while it retrenches. Betting the farm on a cheaper platform puts real pressure on execution. Second, $30,000 is a target in $2025. Material prices, tariffs, and labor costs can eat that alive by 2027. Third, the truck's real-world range is the make-or-break number. If it's too low, buyers will treat it as a city toy. If Ford nails a sweet spot, say 220 to 250 miles EPA with quick winter warm-up and honest charging curves, the value prop lands. Fourth, service and software need to feel modern out of the box. None of these are unsolvable, but they're not hand-waving problems either. And what about the disrupt Tesla part of the title? Disruption isn't about beating Tesla on 0 to 60 or app animations. It's about forcing a price reset and a product rethink. A $30,000 electric pickup that isn't miserable to live with would do both. It would pressure Tesla to actually deliver its own lower-cost car on time, with real features, not just promises. It would shove the market toward LFP and smarter manufacturing faster, because nobody wants to explain to their board why their EV costs $10,000 more for the same job. And it would hand Ford a narrative it hasn't owned in a while. The blue oval brand that makes the EV you can actually afford, and actually want. That alone is disruptive. Here's the clean verdict: Ford's new LFP platform is not a moonshot or a miracle. It's a focused, cost-first plan that copies what works, trims what doesn't, and leans into batteries the world can actually afford. If Ford hits its marks, a real $30,000 starting price, a useful range, and the new assembly system working as advertised, this truck will be the most important EV in America the year it launches. If they miss, it'll be another confident keynote that couldn't survive the spreadsheet. Right now, the pieces add up. The price target is aggressive but not fantasy. The battery strategy is sensible. The factory plan borrows from the right playbook. And the product choice, a practical midsize pickup, is exactly where US buyers live. Tesla still has the lead in software and charging, but Ford just opened a second front where Tesla hasn't fielded a $30,000 answer yet. That should make everyone sharpen their pencils. All the sources I used are linked below in the description. If you'd like to see how Toyota's green powertrain exposed ties into today's story, I dropped the link right there in the description.